And I was happy that the number one is gonna be fine. This is the market number one, this is the market number two. Okay. This paper is for the number two. Alright. This is within a 5,000 millimeter, and we are talking about 98 to 98.005. That's acceptable. It's okay. There is no problem at all. For an open block with the sleeves, it's okay. Now, this block, I have a problem. This paper is right because it's 97.990. It's 100 millimeter more tight, and not for this application. All right. Here, as an example, it's a couple of thousand. Then if you measure it here, you see that's more tight. It's 100 millimeter more tight. A little bit more than 100 millimeter. All right. And the same thing on this cylinder. All right. No. So 98 just to 98.005 acceptable. Not 995, nothing less than 98. You prefer when you put a turbo upgrade and you're tuning the car and it's gonna run a little bit more hot, and you have also the sleeves that are not gonna expand the same like the original cylinders. All right, with the specific pistons you don't want something less than 98. So I'm sorry, but 97.990, here it says 98, 98, 98. I don't see this. All right. Keep in mind that this block had a grease inside. This block didn't have nothing. It has just a little bit oil, and just wipe the oil. I don't know if they touched this block or not. To me, it looks like it was how I sent it to them. I already measured this side, and it's the same thing. In some spots, it's more tight. And sorry, this need to go back. I cannot use this block on this state as it is. Like I said, for a 5,000 of millimeter greater cylinder, 98.005, I will accept it. It's gonna be fine. But not like that. Alright, this is going back at the machine shop for fourth time. I don't remember how many times anymore. At least I have a healthy block. Something's that. Yay. You know what, since I start the phone and I make a video now, let's check also the crank. Let's check the stupid crank also to finalize this, so don't have to make it again another video. Now, the crankshaft. This is the crankshaft that I put at the beginning of the lathe, and I checked the run out and I found 200 millimeter on the number one journal there. Okay, I sent back at the machine shop, they sent to me back. I guess they found it straight. Alright, usually I'm not mounting the crank on this tool because it's heavy and this aluminium and I don't want to bend it. Only it might be the third crank I can put from the Golf, but I'm not putting heavy crankshafts. Okay, now let's see here what I have done. I have a V block here and here. Alright, that means I'm measuring in the middle block, in the middle journal, and stepping on the number 5 and on the number 1. Alright, I have already zeroed the linear. Just a second. Keep it there. You want to see this one. It's measuring 1,000 millimeter. Alright, and you need to see also the crank that. Yeah, how I wrote it like this now. Dang it. Wait, let's flip it. Let's see if I flip it, it's gonna be the phone upside down. Yay. I'm gonna break it, who knows, maybe. Alright, there we go. I'm turning it. Here I have the 4 marks. Where is the 0 point? Alright, when you see negative, that means it's lower. Is it recording now or I'm doing all this for nothing? Yes, it is recording. Oops. Sorry. Okay, so start spinning. 5,000 millimeter lower. Now it's gonna be the oil gallery. Don't pay attention on that. Forget about that. Almost 200 millimeter. 200, 300, 400, 500 millimeter, it reaches up to 59. It means 600 of a millimeter. Alright, now it's the oil gallery, forget about that. Let's go to find again the 0 point. And this is the 0 point here. That's the 0 point. So we saw something like 500 millimeter run out, right? So when you have a clearance between 0.03 to 0.04 and you have 500 millimeter run out, when you have a clearance between 300 and 400 millimeter and you have a run out 500 millimeter, you know what is going to happen. Alright, give me a second now to put on the number 2 and on the number 4. 2, 3, 4, yes, just give me a second. Okay, journal number 2. Fine, I found the highest point, spinning it. Ah, sorry, I didn't find the highest point. That's the oil gallery that I passed. I found the lowest point. That's the oil gallery. 600 millimeter. Let's go back again to 0. Here it's supposed to be, yeah, that's the 0. When you see anything more than 5,000 millimeter, it's critical. Especially, you're not talking about clearance. I make one mistake on the previous video, not on the previous video, when I was saying about the crankshaft. I was willing to say that if let us say it was 1/10 of millimeter, the clearance, and you have 100 millimeter run out, it's acceptable. But not in this case. Not to have, it's not right. That's it. It's not right. Okay. So again, it might change if I put, one second. When I mount it on the lathe, I'm mounting this on the choke, and then I put here assembly grease, and I'm spinning it with this way. That means the choke is steady and it spins here, the crank. Alright, so if you have any imperfection here, it's gonna be translated in all the crank. And the tailstock, the same thing for the tailstock here. Now with this way you have a V that's steady V from both sides. It doesn't matter if it's, let us say, if that V it's a little bit more high or low. It's not. I'm just saying, it doesn't matter if it's more high or low. Okay, so you see where I'm measuring it. It's not changing anything. When it starts turning on his axis, it should be round. Okay, on the lathe with this way I found 200 millimeter, 200 or 300, I don't remember how much I have it on video. Now here, that's more precise, I found even more. It's not for a long life, it's not good for a long life. It's not good for, let us say, where you can use this, I don't know, to make a couple of pulls on a drag race and then throw it, probably. It's not right. Okay, so this crankshaft and the other block that I have outside, I cannot use it. I'm gonna be concentrated on this block that I can use over there with this paper. I have also then the stand here. I have to take care about all these tools here now to clean all these things. When you see so much fluctuation on the lift, it's a lift because for the camshaft, it's not for the crank. Yeah, okay. It was the oil gallery here. It was passing through the oil gallery. You don't care about that. You do care to be repeatable. That means all the time you're gonna be 0 on the specific spot and to see the run out. Actually, you do care to be, like I said, 5,000 of millimeter. 5,000 you can accept it. Yeah, but not 500. You know. Well, again, you have a clearance between 3 and 400. What's gonna happen to the bearing? Even if I mount it on the engine, definitely it's gonna seize. If I put assembly grease on the bearings and I torque it down, I'm not gonna be able to turn it freely. Don't ask me why and how. That's what I have in front of me. Yeah. Let me give you an example. I have a used camshaft for an M156, alright? You see the lobe? It's gone. It's 0. Fine. So I'm spinning it. I'm not putting the caps here. Just turning it. Again back to 0. So this camshaft has run out by 7,000 millimeter, and for a camshaft this run out it's acceptable. Forget the fact that the camshaft's gone, okay? But I'm just saying, for a camshaft 6,000 millimeter, it's okay. Alright, screw it. I'm gonna put the block on the stand and I'm gonna put the crankshaft inside. I'm gonna torque it down. Just for curiosity to see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe my hands are wrong. Maybe the lathe is wrong, let us say, or the way how I'm doing it. Let's see it on the block. Main bearings. That's the lower, that's the upper, that's the thrust washers. Okay? Block. Crankshaft bearing caps, crankshaft. All lower are red, R. Okay, all upper are the number 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2, and that's how I'm gonna go. For now, it's gonna be like this because I'm not checking the clearance. I'm checking to see if it spins freely. All right. I'm gonna use assembly grease, what I'm using all the time, like I'm installing it for final. It will not gonna be for final. I'm saying again. It's gonna be just to see if it spins, how it spins, let us say, when you finally install it. Alright? Hopefully I have the bearings here. I didn't have to go to get the other big box from the office. And it's okay, I have this small box with a couple of bearings inside. Fortunately I found it. Good thing that I didn't have to waste more time to go at the office. Let's see. Here we go. Lower bearings, upper bearings. Fine. Assembly grease. Let's put it together. And that's the boxes. That's the lower, that's more wide, the 4 front, and this one the thrust washers. The same test what I'm doing all the time with the wrench. Okay. The only difference in this case, I put one socket with a cable tied here because it spins. It doesn't spin freely. It's tight and it's stopped in one point. If you compare the readings when I read it earlier on the tool, you see that one spot it was completely out. Alright, now pay attention. I make 2 marks. I make this black mark here and another one here. Alright, now if I pass it, it starts moving. Alright, let's turn a little bit more freely at this point. You're gonna see what's gonna happen. 1 second. You see where is the mark? There. And I make another one mark there. Okay, so I'm leaving it. And it stopped here. Now, I'm gonna make it again up. To be honest, I was expecting to be worse. I was expecting that it's gonna be much more difficult to turn it. Okay, so now if I put some weight, it's gonna release after this point. It's gonna get released the crank. Okay, after this point, it's okay. It's okay. It depends who you're asking. I have done this at least 2-3 times. Let's do it once again, right? It reaches again the same position, and there it's stuck. Once again, usually I'm doing this test without adding anything here. I add one nut, one socket, sorry. I add one socket because only with the wrench it doesn't have enough gravity, it doesn't have enough weight to win the crank. If you watch previous videos with M57, I'm not putting nothing here when I'm installing the crank, and I'm just putting the wrench, and you see that it makes this movement and goes almost at 90 degrees. Okay, let us say that now it's on 90 degrees, but I'm saying that when you're putting it there, yeah, okay, it comes a little bit more vertical. It doesn't matter how many times I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be the same thing. We're gonna stop always on the same position. On the lathe, when I put on the lathe, I found 200 millimeter. And there it's stuck. Again on the same position. Doesn't matter, even if I have it here up, that's applying more force, let us say, again it's not moving. Even if I move it by finger. So fuck my measurements, alright? Forget about what I saw on the lathe or what I saw on the camshaft tool here. Why it bites the crank, why it's seized. With the new bearings, by the way, new OEM bearings, not aftermarket or something. Alright, so I'm gonna have to guess at the crankshaft. It's the thing. Crankshaft back again at the machine shop. Yay! Thank you very much. I was expecting to be worse, but if you think about it, if you have between 300 and 400 millimeter on each journal, you're gonna get this difference. Again, the range is between 3 to 400 millimeter. So if you are, let's say, 0.036, you're gonna be able to spin it. It need to be much more. I spin it again, by the way, off the camera, just in case. I'm gonna bring also Mr. Omar to test by his hand to be 100% right. That's it. Thank you. Let me take care about the bearings. Putting it again in the box and moving on. You're never gonna finish. It will never gonna finish. 2023 it went all in. Came in hard, eh?